You're listening to the Behind Ears podcast, because everybody does Disney differently. The Behind Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. If you have a little one and you're going to Walt Disney World, you're going to need a stroller. I'll tell you what, KingdomStrollers.com is the place where you want to look into. I'll tell you, I've destroyed my fair share of strollers while at Walt Disney World, and those things are not cheap. But getting something from KingdomStrollers.com, they'll be able to help you pick out the perfect stroller for you. And the nice part is that because they're a Disney preferred provider, they'll be able to drop it off and pick it up right from your Disney resort at no extra charge. So if you don't want to necessarily destroy your stroller in the process, and you want to have a great Disney vacation with your little one, contact KingdomStrollers.com and they'll set you right up. That's KingdomStrollers.com. Do you want to save around 40% off Disney's prices for deluxe on-property accommodations? Contact DVC-rental.com. They help out Disney Vacation Club owners rent out points that they're not going to use. These points mean savings for you on your next trip at Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Vero Beach, Florida, and Hilton Head Island in South Carolina. The DVC member books everything in your name, just like any other reservation. And if you ever decide that you want to become a DVC member, you can check out our sister company, BuyAndSellDVC.com. As a licensed realtor, they sell DVC contracts for members at a savings of 30 to 40% off Disney's prices. And if you're looking to sell your contract, BuyAndSellDVC.com has one of the industry's lowest commissions at only 6.5%. Again, that's DVC-rental.com for your rental needs, and BuyAndSellDVC.com to buy or sell into the Disney Vacation Club at a large discount. And make sure you tell them that the Behind Ears podcast crew sent you.
Attention wizards and witches. The Expedition Roasters head roastmaster is pleased to announce the release of 4 new wizarding brews. Are you charming and courageous, book-smart and brilliant, big-hearted and kind, or possibly cunning and ambitious? You may have to try all 4 to find out which house roast you belong to. So cast a transporting spell over to Expeditionroasters.com to begin your journey. And don't forget to continue your adventure with our large selection of pop culture-inspired themed coffees. There's always an adventure in every bag. Behind the Ears podcast fans, be sure to use the code EARS20 for 20% off your first order. That's EARS20 at Expeditionroasters.com. Brew, your happy place.
Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to a oddly worded entrance to a show, because it fits the odd show that we have for you tonight. If you're a podcast listener, this is just a normal show. So crack us up on the AM radio and let's get rocking and rolling.
I listen
to AM radio.
We sound better than AM radio. Let's face it.
I don't know. Ooh, I sound better. You're right. No, we both sound better. But if you're a live viewer, we do apologize for the late start and the multiple streams and all that nonsense. That is just the way we like to roll on Tuesday afternoon. Would you expect anything else a week before Thanksgiving? Come on, my mind is on turkey. I am Uncle Danny. That is Mr. Chris. This is Behind the Ears podcast. We are live and in color. Mr. Chris, how are you?
This has been a day. Dude, first off, I'm going to tell you something. I feel really live and awake. You know why? I've had more coffee in one day today than I have had in a long time. I've had 4 cups of coffee today. So
it's so funny. I've had 75 ounces of coffee myself.
Very good. I just, for some reason, could not get enough of it. And that's not a joke. Eventually, I had to switch to decaf because I thought to myself, I think my heart's going to explode. So, but yeah, it's one of those cases where, Tuesdays I start really early. I after I get some food on the table for my son before he goes off to school, I actually leave the house. I go to a group where I meet up with a bunch of guys and come back, and this is like instantaneously work happened. And so the coffee kept flowing. I kept going. And yes, it was all Expedition Roasters coffee. What could I tell you? Good stuff. I drink it. I use it. There you go. And I have actually switched. Instead of using flavored creamers, I just use whipping cream. Just straight whipping cream, dude. It's awesome. So, anyway, what's going on with you, man? I haven't talked to you well, I did talk to you a little bit over the weekend.
Yeah, busy weekend. Got some things in the pipeline. Getting kind of excited. Possible behind the ears podcast meetup being in the works.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Just heard that through the grapevine from a couple of the employees over there. So yeah, we're gonna see what they got rocking and rolling. Besides that, pretty good. I do have some hot takes for tonight. And these are opinions of Uncle Danny Incorporated. They have nothing to do with the Behind the Ears Industries LLC or Mr. Chris. Wow. These are my hot takes, so I hope I didn't put that up there.
You did, though.
Don't go up. Don't
I'm interested in hearing. I'm interested in hearing what you have to say, because I think this could be kind of funny, and then again, I could be cringing. But I'd love to hear it, and I'd love to basically put my 2 cents in, because maybe, just maybe, I will agree. So, Danny, what's your first hot take, bro?
All right, first hot take is Disney. If you're listening, and you might not be listening live because it's a little late, but you're listening eventually. Guys, it is time to shut down the monorails. This is absurd. You can't be having doors falling off every couple weeks here. I don't care if you ordered them. This is a safety hazard. This is ridiculous. You should be, you know what? You charge on average $6,500 for a family of 4 on a vacation. You could afford some super glue to keep the doors shut. This is utterly ridiculous. If you guys haven't seen this yet, live. Well, it didn't happen. Well, it's not live anymore, but Walt Disney World guests got a chance to witness a monorail door falling off on one of its trains early on Tuesday. This comes from Staple Cupcake, on Instagram, shared a photo where a door is hanging below the tracks over at the Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. A Disney spokesman says the door was being repaired after it was hit by a motorized scooter when a passenger was boarding at a stationary train. Yeah, that's what they want you to believe. Monorail got us. It's the point where I won't stay I will stay deluxe, obviously, but I'm not going to stay deluxe at a resort because of the monorail until they fix this. They are constantly breaking down. They are from 1987 design. They smell like what I believe the inside of a dirty diaper would smell like if you lived inside one. The heat doesn't work. The air doesn't work. It's disgusting. It's no better. It's a glorified subway in the sky. That's what it is. If anybody's from the New York area and you ride the rat-infested subway trains, maybe they're not the extent of a rat-infested subway train, but they're freaking close. They're disgusting. This has got to stop. No, I'm not done. I'll give you a timeout when I'm ready. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, Okay, let me ask this question. We don't know whether or not this little thing happened, like the door started coming off when it was moving. It supposedly is while it was stationary, correct?
Correct.
Okay, let's think about this for a second. Personally, with all due respect to those who need mobility devices, and I say that because, my mom was an ECV user, a motorized scooter user when she was there, and she wouldn't have been able to do Disney without it. I'll be really honest with you. So I know that there are people out there that use those things, but I also know that, at times, especially if you don't use those scooters very often, they're sometimes hard to control. So my whole take on it is, I don't doubt that a scooter in the hands of the wrong driver could have easily, taken out one of those doors. So I'm not necessarily blaming Disney for something like that, although it's very hard to believe that sort of thing happened. I mean, it's just like, you're like, what? But seriously, if this happened at a station, because of guest interaction, how unintended guest interaction, how's that for wordsmithing? Sometimes it makes me wonder if people are just jumping to too many conclusions on this sort of thing. Hey, I hear what you're saying, man. I think they need those monorails there faster and sooner rather than later. But if this is because someone ran into it, that's not Disney's fault.
No, okay, but it just goes to show you if someone ran into it, how flimsy that door is.
Depends on how you run
to
it.
come off.
Well, keep in mind, they're not made out of steel or anything like that. But, really...
No, but think about it. Even if they were getting off of it, because I'm assuming if the scooter had to be getting off for it to catch it the right way. Because if it was heading in, it would have just bent the door in. If it was coming out, it probably would have taken the door off.
I'm thinking that a guest hit it from the side. In other words, someone that was scooting over alongside of the monorail, not over the yellow line like they should be, or whatever it is, and clipped it, and then kind of ripped it off. Kind of like if someone hits your door while your door is open in the car. You see what I'm saying? Kind of like that, rather than coming on or off the monorail. The fact of the matter...
No, good.
No, I was going to say, the fact is we don't have any proof of anything that's going on, and so far we haven't heard it from any real first-hand eyewitnesses of it. And but you come at it from the side, I bet you any money it's easy to do that kind of damage. But at the same time, what did Chris say? It's guilty by association. I kind of missed before it kind of flew past my screen with all the comments that we were getting tonight. It's oh wait, I can scroll down. There we go. Hold on a second.
I just put it up there.
Oh, thank you. It's guilty by association just because all the rest of the problems that the monorails have been having. Yeah, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all. I mean, here's the thing though. We ride the monorail all the time. I'm fortunate enough to not have been stuck on a monorail. But at the same time,
hold on. Mary says they don't get that close. That is not true. They do get that close.
I will say I have seen them. I have seen.
Polly doesn't think about it. I know. Sorry. I can't recall Grand Floridian off the top of my head right now, but I know Polly, you get stopped at the gate. But once those gates open, there's no gates, right? You walk into the next platform.
Yeah, true. And at the same time, Aaron brings up a really good question. Don't cast members place a metal ramp down while ECVs get on and off the monorail? Well, obviously you have to get on. To get off, hey, all you have to do is have one rogue scooter driver put that puppy on high, hit that throttle, and they're going to Dukes of Hazzard that thing off the monorail. So it's just one of those things. So, I think it's possible. I think it's very possible. I don't think it's a cover story. I'm not just saying that. I hear Danny though. I hear Danny and agree with Danny. We still need some new monorails. Hopefully the door system and ramp system will be a little bit more automated, a little bit more friendly for scooter users.
It doesn't stop here. It's the fact of this is not the first time to be politically correct, this is the first time a door has fallen off. This is not the first time they've had a major malfunction with the door. Now, granted, you could say this is human error and this is the error by, non-Disney, but Disney has had a slew in the past year of major malfunctions. Let's just count a few of them. The door opening during the monorail ride, which they tried to disprove and saying someone opened it. And it was proven wrong that the monorail malfunctioned and the door opened up. Major safety issue. How many times, I literally can probably count on both my hands in the past, I'll be generous, 4 months. How many times how many times have they gone down? They've been breaking down constantly, way more in the more frequent past than they have before. What about the one that literally was falling apart? Well, was it black? When it was literally losing chunks of itself, heading into the TTC area. I mean, these things are legitimate problems, and we're continuously putting people on there. And I'm not some worrywart and like, oh my goodness, if my kid put my children on there. No, I'm more just saying like, they spend so much time worrying about the gondola system that I feel like this got neglected. You could say, hey, it was the blue one. Thank you, Ashley. You could say, hey, we ordered these monorails and it takes time, but knowing it took time, you knew these things were outdated 10 years ago. Why did you wait? And is this a sign of what's to come? Because I'll tell you what, if it is, you're going to see a major hit in people not wanting to stay at Poly, Grand Floridian, Contemporary. Not because they don't love those resorts, but a lot of people who have the money to stay at a deluxe stay at them because of the monorail. What are you going to do if that monorail can't operate for a little while? I'm just saying, this should have been taken care of.
I will say that I agree that I think it's very much high time that the monorails get replaced. As I said, I've never had an issue riding the monorail. Every once in a while I'll be on one, maybe it's not as cool as it should be, or maybe it's a little bit warmer than normal, or this, that, and the other. But I've been fortunate enough to not been stuck on one, and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to say I'm a little biased, but my experiences are a little biased. I will say that, I know everybody's been so high and mighty on the whole gondola thing, and I was kind of reading, first off, the whole idea of them most likely not having actual air conditioners, the idea that you're only going to spend a few minutes from point to point between, stops is actually a pretty good thing. You're not going to be up. You may not necessarily be up there for 20 minutes at a time or what have you. But at the same time, the gondola system is not going to be another monorail. I mean, it's not, it'll have a very big novelty, but it's also one of those cases where, it's not going to be like a resolve to having a monorail elsewhere. Christine actually asked the question, she's like, that's why I keep asking if you guys think they're taking on too many things at once. No.
When it comes to transportation, I do believe it now. I truly.
You believe it. I don't necessarily, but at the same time, the thing is that we're seeing a couple different aspects of this, though. The thing is that I think that, these kinds of projects usually happen with separate teams, separate finances, and so on and so forth. I just really, where in the world did that come from? So where was that one? But the thing is that I don't necessarily think they're taking on too much at once. I just think that they need to expedite some of these things. I think they need to expedite the idea that they need new monorails. They need to be refurbed. They need to be replaced. They need to do that. They need to do that very quickly, because here's the thing. You're building all these other resorts, and granted, they're not on the monorail, but you're still going to have people coming there to go on that monorail. Regardless of what people think, it's not just transportation. People see that as a ride. People see that as an attraction.
I just truly believe, and I'm not one. All right, let me phrase that. Maybe I am one. All right, no. I would never openly say someone should be fired. I think everybody's job is very hard, especially with some of the things we talk about. I joke about the people who made Pizza Planet and designed all that stuff. Disney Transportation needs an overhaul. It's like a sports team. You gave it a good run. You did. If whoever's running it, you did good. Okay, you got some new buses in. We're past that. You're done. We need to clean slate, because I'm telling you, and me and Chris differ on this, but I think Disney Transportation has plummeted. Now, as it's plummeted, attendance has risen. So could it be that Disney just can't handle the influx of people? Sure. Could it be that Disney's infrastructure for transportation stinks that bad that it didn't matter there was an influx of people? Sure. Could it be a mix of both? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, to say it's not negligent the way what Disney charges and their form of transportation is absurd, because people are like, well, other parks don't give you free transportation. please never think that Disney is giving you transportation for free. It is built in. It is 110% built into your cost. It's crazy to think that they continuously get away with not enough buses, and it's absurd. It is absurd. But the main topic of the conversation is I'm not going to rail on the buses. I've done that before. The boats, I actually really don't have a problem with the boats. The boats can only do what they can do. There's bad water, there's bad water. But the monorail is the thing that you built a hotel around it. You put it on commercials. It's on merchandise. You have people who literally, Chris said, think it's a ride. And you just didn't take care of it?
It needs to come. And the thing is that it can't come fast enough. And that's... Here's the thing. And this just hit me. Are we now becoming the types of consumers where... Are we becoming the types of consumers where we have to have things now? There are obviously some things that need to be refreshed, but we want it refreshed now. And you know what? You and I, we don't necessarily have to agree on this, but the fact of the matter is neither one of us knows what kind of logistics has to go into getting new monorail cars, because it's not just monorail cars. It's obviously if they have to do any track revamps, if they have to get the training involved to do the maintenance for the new monorails, because keep in mind it's not just some kind of an attraction; it's considered a train, okay? And there are certain things that have to be regulated by the federal government. When it comes to train transportation, that has to happen too. Not to mention that they have to have the trains actually built. Monorail cars actually have to be built. They have to be tested, and they have to be put into place. There are so many different things that have to happen before that monorail comes into play. I agree. They need to do it. They need to keep up the ones that they have right now until the day that the new monorails come up. That is, I think... There really should not be any question about that.
Okay.
So
I agree 110%. And I understand as we go on, technology and safety features grow and grow, and that extends a period of time for how long it takes us to get it.
Sure.
I am 110% on your side. I know where you're coming from. My question is, why did we wait until 2018 to do this? Why was this? And I know we can live in the world of, you want it right away. The satisfaction, we live in a world of instant gratification. If you're going to charge me for instant gratification, I deserve instant gratification. You cannot continuously raise prices on everything across the board, but not keep up. I'm sorry. If you're going to jack your prices up like you have, you can't just give me Toy Story Land and expect everything else to get brushed under the rug. And I do think they're trying in a lot of other ways. They have started to do revamps on the values, which is absolutely was needed, and it's wonderful that they're doing it.
And
you're starting to see,
they're good revamps. They have done 110%. So much. They've done so much with those value resorts. I actually want to try another one just to try it out because it looks that cool. So, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. Not only are they revamping the values, which Chris and myself both agree they've been fantastic. We had Jessica stay at a moderate that they're revamping. We're seeing new deluxes being built. We're seeing new DVC resorts being built. We are seeing new lands built. In the next from 5 years ago to five years ahead of us, we're going to see 3 new lands. We're going to see Pandora, Toy Story, and Star Wars. In that time frame, you're going to see multiple hotels refurbished, multiple hotels either fully built or basically in the process of being built. We're going to see a new transportation system in the gondola. That is all great, and I don't take that away from Disney by any stretch of imaginations. But as attendance rise and the price of the tickets, the merchandise, the food rise, there is a lack in other aspects. Like Chris always says, they're building all these hotels leading to what? More than likely a fifth gate. You need a place for them to stay before they have a place to go. But the problem is they don't have the transportation infrastructure in right now. It's crazy. I mean, even look, they robbed Peter to pay Paul in a lot of aspects with building Star Wars when they completely have jacked up Hollywood Studios, where you're walking 3/4 of a mile when you get off your bus to the front of the gates of Hollywood Studios. It's ridiculous. I get where they're coming from, and I am an appreciative person because I don't want the same old Disney. As much as I love the nostalgia, I love seeing the growth, and I will pay whatever it takes to go in it. Yes, maybe my trips are a little less time, with less time there. Maybe I don't buy as much stuff, but I still want to go. But at the same time, I've seen over the past year the nightmare it has been with transporting inside Disney, and it's just crazy. Chris says, question is, the unfortunate event of guests getting injured because of the monorail fault, will they shut monorails down until they are replaced?
Doubt it.
I don't think so.
I doubt it, because you know what, they have more than one monorail. I mean, that's the thing, and the fact of the matter is that I think that the monorail transportation is so tied into the DNA of Disney transportation that they couldn't do that. Now, if there was a full stop on monorail usage because of an obvious widespread safety hazard, safety recall, as it would, then I'm sure they would. I'm sure that Disney is not going to purposely sacrifice safety for just having the monorail up. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, what happened today wasn't because of a maintenance item. That's the thing. It wasn't because of maintenance. And, I kind of equated that if they had a safety thing, the NTSB will shut them down while they investigate, just like the NTSB has shut down different modes of transportation if they thought it was an imminent flaw on a particular product. They did that with certain aircraft. They've done it on other modes of transportation. It's as simple as that. But at the same time, the fact is that they're not going to get rid of the monorail. I've heard people say that too, like they're going to try to get rid of it. Like, really? No. To get rid of the monorail, I mean, first off, my wife would be like, "That's it, I quit." So, but so it's just one of those things. I don't see that sort of thing happening. But at the same time, why are people spazzing out over this whole thing when they don't have the full story? I understand your point. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the internet is just blowing up over this, and yet it doesn't seem like anybody has really the full story. And you know what? None of us will. And this is not one of those things that Disney is going to, basically put out there publicly and easily. And anybody who says that they have that kind of information, I'm not sure if it's going to be accurate. But the fact of the matter is that, what happened today was caused with human intervention. And, we don't know what happened. Do I believe that the monorails need to be revamped and everything else? Absolutely. Do I think Disney is sacrificing quality for this, quality and safety? No, I don't. I don't think they would do that. I just don't. I have enough faith in the corporation to think that they are not going to sacrifice things. Do I think that there are some pretty aggressive guests out there that actually do some stupid things in the monorail? Like, use the monorail for a bathroom when there is no bathroom in the monorail? Hey, we've heard it happen. Not seen it, thank goodness. We've heard things like that. Unfortunately, when you change your baby's dirty diaper in a monorail car, the whole frickin' monorail sounds like, basically smells like baby butt. And that's just, I'm sorry. That's not caused by the monorail. That's caused by stupid guests. And yes, I'm saying it like that. There are certain things that happen because of stupid guest tricks. And, Disney has to clean up after that stuff, literally and figuratively.
Speaking of stupid guests, this brings me to point number 2 of the night.
Wait. There was more than one point? Shoot.
Yes. So, Dum Dum was in the news again today. And when I mean Dum Dum, I mean the guy who got away with it the first time, but decided to do it again.
Oh.
So, we had to talk about it. Internet blew up about it. We chatted, and we both agreed. Take away your political views. And the guy who dropped the ginormous banner, we all kind of agreed, like, all right, man, you probably should have done it. Did you really need a banner that big? Well, this time, he found a smaller banner. And it was one of those pull-apart ones. And it says Trump 2020 on it. So you guys might be referring to, I will not use his name. And the reason I will not use his name is because he's gotten enough attention for this, and he's continuously trying to get attention, and the dude's just a moron. Sorry, but you're a moron.
We're gonna get sued.
What?
We're gonna get so sued. It's like,
I hope he comes at me. Hey, whatever, you know your name. You want to have a conversation, we could talk.
So wait. Hold on. Would you actually want to have a live conversation as to why he did it?
I mean, he did it for clickbait.
Yeah, well, the funny part is, and because like Anna just mentioned, he got banned. He got banned the first time.
He actually did get banned.
I know, but the first time he got. Well, okay. Let's make sure we use the proper terminology. Disney does not ban. Disney cannot ban. That's not how the law works, at least not in the state of Florida. He got her first hit with a trespass order. Then he did a mea culpa. My bad. I'm sorry. Disney said, okay, fine. We'll remove the trespass order. And then he goes and does it again. Now he's got a trespass order that I'm sure Disney will not necessarily lift. And in the state of Florida, once a year, you are able to appeal said trespass order on a person. And we have seen other people actually have that trespass order lifted because they're like, you know what, I'm sorry, I was stupid, I won't do it again, I promise. And they have fulfilled their promises. This guy, I'm sure, is going to be on the Disney blacklist for a long time. I think Maleficent would have to turn nice before he actually gets back.
Trespassed from all of Walt Disney World properties to include but not limited to theme parks, water parks, resorts, and Disney Springs. Conduct not welcome on Walt Disney World property. That is a direct quote.
Whoa. Yeah, you see, it's a little bit different here. It's a little bit different here because of this, I say here, as in Florida, because of the Florida state laws. So, yeah. So, I don't know why people decide to do that.
If you don't know who we're talking about, once again, it was the guy on Main Street a few weeks ago. Well, actually, like over a month ago. Had a big banner, said Trump 2020 on Main Street. And like we said, a lot of us were like, why are you guys blowing this out of proportion? If you don't like what he's doing, let him just walk away. I mean, it shouldn't affect your day. But at the same time, Disney stepped in, removed it. Supposedly, he did it again a few weeks ago inside of Epcot. But didn't really catch much attention. This one went viral. It's him on Splash Mountain. Someone sitting like this next to him with their face on, and he has a giant banner pulled open and says Trump 2020. Once again, take your beliefs of political leanings out of it, okay?
Because we don't talk politics here. Let's make sure that we get that absolutely correct. We don't talk politics. Thank you.
You got to be a special type of stupid to do it multiple times. Because you know what you're trying to do? You are literally stirring the pot and you're trying to get clicks. But what he doesn't realize is I have to be so, my blood boils with this a little bit, so I have to be very careful. He ruins it for other people because now if we wanted to do a meetup and have a big banner, they're going to be cracking down on that. And he's taking away from the fun. Listen, I don't care if you wanted Obama, if you wanted Hillary, if you wanted the man on the freaking moon. Why are you going to bring it to Disney? Who cares? I can give two craps. It's like when I go see a concert. I love Bruce Springsteen. I don't even know what Bruce Springsteen wants to say about politically, dude. I didn't come here for your beliefs. If I wanted your beliefs, I would have watched the news channel. I came here to listen to you sing "Born in the USA" and "Glory Days." Okay. Outside of that, I can give two craps what you do in your daily day. Same thing with this guy. I came to ride Splash Mountain. I don't need you ruining my picture with your stupid banner. And listen, me and Chris lean very different when it comes to political beliefs. But once again, it has nothing to do with the situation. The situation has to do is you got in trouble once. He saw the, oh my God, look at all these clicks I'm getting. Bro, your site is a joke. You as a human are a waste of my time. You are a waste of the airways. You are literally the dumbest thing I have ever witnessed in my life. And I hope you watch those giant numbers on your WordPress site, which once again, you're a joke. I hope that you watch all those thousands of clicks. They're going to be gone. Because you want to know what your yesterday's news, your 15 minutes of fame is up. Give it up, bro. On to the next one. And before I pass the baton to Chris, for the ignorant people sitting in there saying, oh, if it said Obama 2020, first of all, Obama can't run again, dumb. Unless you're speaking of his wife, then I apologize. But, which leads me to my next thing. Who cares if it said Oprah 2020, The Rock 2020, Trump 2020? That has nothing to do with the situation. It's the fact of Disney clearly said don't do it. Disney clearly has rules against it. You clearly broke them. You apologized like a child would. And then would you do exactly like that child? Mommy turned their back and you did the same thing again. You got caught coloring on the wall. So what do? You color on the wall again. You're a dum-dum. Okay? End of rant. And please do if you're going to agree with him, save it because it's like 11 o'clock Eastern, and I'm not in the mood to be arguing with nobody. Chris is writing something, so I can only imagine what's about to come up on the screen. Like we'll make him go solo. He's not ready yet.
I'm not ready yet.
He's not ready yet. No.
Hold on.
See, now Bruce shouldn't have been banned for it. I can't believe Disney allowed him back in. Yeah, I can't believe in it either. Yeah, he definitely deserved to get banned. Now Trisha says, truthfully, he's not a bad guy. I've talked to him, bro, but he's clickbait. He's clickbait, and I have no respect for that. If you're someone who's trying to make it in our industry, your numbers are fake. I don't need fake people around here.
Well,
and you know what? And I don't care about his political beliefs, Trish. I really don't. He could be a really great guy, but he's a real dumb for doing these stupid things. What do you got for us?
I got a sign for you. Put me up solo. All right.
You are.
Right there, man. Right there.
It's a lot. Well, I got to be vice president? I could take that. That's no stress.
Yeah, there you go. Right there. That's the kind of sign we want to see here, ladies and gentlemen. Simple as that. Just remember, it's going to be our press conference for announcing that we're going to be running for president in 2020. We'll be on ESPN 8, The Ocho. So,
see, no, Caden. Because here's the difference. I could talk about him. If you choose to do your research on him, that's on you. But if you don't, then you're just going to listen to what I have to say. We are a news outlet. I have to report what happened. But at the same time, I don't have to agree what happened, and I'm not going to give him his extra 5 seconds of glory. If you, as an individual, as a listener, would want to go see who this guy is and go through his stuff, that's fine. But I guess a lot of you are not going to do it because honestly, when I first did it, when I first looked at it, I didn't even want to click on the link. If we didn't have a show and we had to talk about it, I would have given two craps about this guy.
Listen, I'll say this. People do publicity stunts all the time at Disney, at all the parks. I'm sure. The thing is, I think it's probably more prevalent here. I bet you dollars to donuts that if you tried to do that at Shanghai Disneyland or Tokyo Disneyland or anything else like that, you would probably be met with a lot of opposition, like by other guests and so on. Not just because of that, not saying that particular sign. I'm talking just a publicity stunt. We tolerate it here, and that's one thing. But the fact of the matter is that I don't care for publicity stunts at Disney. I'll look at it, I see it, I walk away, I keep going. I'm not going to let it ruin me. But, if you want to ruin the magic for people, then quite honestly, that's the best way for me to think the opposite for you. You know what? I spend enough money to go to Disney to escape life. I want to escape reality. I don't need someone's publicity stunt. I really don't. And I don't think it's wrong for me to say that. Hey, he's now been trespassed on for property. Can't come anywhere near property. Can't even go to Disney Springs with that. If he goes to Disney Springs, he's arrested. He tries to go to a resort, he's arrested. He tries to go to a water park, he's arrested. Simple as that.
Now, here's the thing. Gordon says the question should be: does Disney go after everyone that holds up a sign? I no. We that's such a knee-jerk reaction. If Chris is there holding up a sign that says "Behind the Ears Podcast Meetup," no, why would they come after us? That's silly.
Although technically,
you could say you are right. Good.
I was going to say technically, you're not supposed to do that. Technically, you're not supposed to be able to do that, and that is actually, from what I understand, is actually in the web rules or the rules on the website. So you're not allowed to bring banners and do that sort of thing because they don't want to incite a crowd, type of thing. So, and we're not going to do that. We're going to be cool about it if we ever have a meetup. But I'm just saying. But you know what? Maybe Gordon is talking more about, like, how there's a lot of people that try to do a trick or a banner or something like that on Splash Mountain. It seems to be a very popular place.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I think, where he's mainly coming up from. Here's two things. Two things why I wouldn't do it. One, obviously there's a safety issue. Two, I'm going to hold that up, and if I'm in the front row, I'm blocking everybody else behind me. And you know what? That's not fair to other guests. I'm sorry. That sucks. That is one of those cases where, I always have to be careful that I don't, when I do something like this going down a Splash Mountain, I'm not blocking the face of another person behind me because I want them to have a great picture. There.
But people do it all the time, and I knew that was going to come up. And, Gordon, I'm not picking on you. Please don't think that at all. You just happen to be the one that's going against what I'm saying, so I'm just using what you're saying. Two wrongs don't make a right. And I'm not saying one sign is better than the other. But at the end of the day, I can't railroad people for booing the Trump animatronic and boycotting it and standing out front and arguing with other guests and literally standing in the middle of the show booing them and causing a scene, but then not get mad at the dude who continuously listen. If he had just done that pull open banner on Splash Mountain, everybody would have thought it was hilarious. Disney would have said nothing to him, and it would have been the end of it. It's the fact that you drop like a 30-foot banner off of the train station. That was the problem.
Yeah, you already had one strike against you. It's like you should have thought about this a little bit better. But he did it because of the attention. He didn't necessarily. He probably, I don't know. Maybe he did because he really believes in his cause. Hey, you know what? I will stand behind a person that believes in a cause, even if it may not necessarily be, the cause that I would be behind, because I believe in the freedom of speech. But the fact of the matter is that, Disney's got their rules, and you know what? They were generous enough to not hold a trespass order against him after the first time. You know what? That's like, he really screwed his trust with Disney. And you know what? I'm sorry, but that's just, that's his fault. That is nobody's fault but his, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he not only did it on the ride, he did it in Epcot last week, and he was the one a while back, maybe about a month and a half, 2 months ago, that literally had I'm not exaggerating when I say a 30-foot banner. This thing was ginormous. He dropped it from the railing of the top of the train station at Magic Kingdom, and it dropped pretty far. It was a very large banner, to the point I even questioned how he got that banner in the park. And then when I did my research on him, he was doing live videos. He was recording him walking in the park doing it, people's reaction, even when security came. Then he would record in the parking lot. Like, the dude is literally the biggest clickbait, because I can't say the word on a PG show.
And I can't.
You could even think of.
And I have a hard time bringing a small tripod in so I can take some night shots with my Canon.
Yeah, I get told to take my shoes off. This dude just comes in with 9 duffel bags. No, everything's okay here, boss.
All right, next topic. You must have one more because it always comes in threes with you.
I don't.
What?
I was only prepared for 2.
Listen, Danny's right. He and I don't always agree on things. And you know what? That's okay. Danny and I are still going to be friends after this because that's what adults do. And, we're still going to sit back and we're still going to go do things and we're still going to go to in the Disney meet together. We're still going to go to, Milwaukee to marry people. Well, maybe
we did that.
We already did that. That's right. And, things like that. But, I just really honestly sometimes think that people need to realize that not everything on the internet is worthy of spreading around like wildfire.
Why? What got passed around now?
No, I'm just talking about things like that. There's so many things that we pass around. We as a generation, I should say, we as users of or consumers of social media. We push out. Okay, here's a good way of looking at it. People will push out stuff like the monorail story. They'll push out stories like that. But when was the last time people shared out our show? When was the last time people shared out the fact that we posted something positive and uplifting from either the WDW community page or the Behind the Ears podcast Facebook page?
I just want to point out my reindeer photo. Bro, I've had like 300 likes and over 150 shares on this thing.
That was actually pretty classic, but
not the show though.
Yeah,
Seriously.
but you kind of catch my drift, right? I mean, people share stuff like that, and I think people need to be more selective in what they share. We have people that share onto the community page all the time, and I think it's great. We allow that sort of thing because we believe in the flow of information, good, bad, and different. And, but at the same time, it'd be great if someone, instead of doing that, they shared things like our show or the things that we put out or the positive stuff that we put out, especially the things that are encouraging to everybody. And I'm not trying to say it as woe is me or anything like that, or, I'm not trying to be a downer, but I'm just trying to say it's like we need to start using social media for, for the benefit of the Disney community in general and passing out positivity type stuff rather than these things that get us riled up. And don't get me wrong, everybody. Danny's got his feelings for this. I've got my feelings for this. We both share the same essence. We love Disney. We want to see it grow. We want to see it get better. And we have different ways of expressing it. That's fine. I respect Danny for what he said tonight. But and at the same time, I'm sure Danny respects the things that I have to say too. Okay. Smart Alec. Podcast listeners can't see the smirk on his face, But the whole thing is that we as a Disney community, we as Disney content creators, we as Disney influencers need to realize that we need to go out there and we need to make it happen. We need to make sure that we pass out the good stuff, the happy stuff, the fun stuff. We need to support those who are creating good content. And that's what Danny and I try to do. Yeah, we have these little rants once in a while. That's how we feel. Okay? I mean, it's
wow, a woman celebrated her 106th birthday today at Taco Bell.
Wow. Did they at least
God bless her.
Did they at least comp her meal?
I believe so. Wow, she looks wonderful for 106.
Wow.
Very lively.
And here I am knocking on the door of 46. I'm thinking to myself, one, why Taco Bell?
I mean, think about it. If you had 106 birthdays, you've probably eaten in a lot of places.
Well, that's cool. 106 though. Goodness.
Phoenix, Arizona. It's got to be that dry heat.
Yeah, just like a blowtorch.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, Chris, why don't you take us away?
One last thing.
I want to
mention. The reason why I say these kinds of things about sharing stuff that are positive. I do believe that there are a lot of things that are being shared out there that's positive. But here's the interesting part. The stuff that causes the most ruckus is the stuff that gets shared out the most and fastest. So it is just one of those things. That's why I'm saying. By the way, what would you get at Taco Bell if it was your birthday?
A Cordito Crunch or whatever, where it's like the burrito with the cheese and then the taco inside of that melted into like one giant thing. Tasty. With a root beer.
A root beer.
Maybe some tots on the side. They don't have the good tots anymore, so maybe just some nachos.
I think I would just go, this is going to sound bad, I would just go for about 10 soft taco supremes.
Those Doritos tacos are not bad, though. Rudy's going to be so mad because Rudy loves Taco Bell, and I always talk a lot of junk on him, and he's long gone, so he doesn't get to hear the Taco Bell talk. Someone tag Rudy so he comes back to this exact spot. But take us away, Chris.
Yeah, give me a minute because I actually forgot to do one thing.
Well, he's doing that. Happy belated Veterans Day to everybody who served. I know we had a lot of posts up there. Thank everybody, but we want to thank you on obviously on air. It's absolutely fantastic. Mary, tell Steve to have a happy belated birthday from Chris and myself.
I'm ready.
Oh, and I'm okay. Real quick, I'm very saddened to hear that Stan Lee passed. That was.
I was gonna.
I don't want to open up a can of worms on it. I think we'll save it for Thursday.
We'll save it. If we'll save that one for sure. Because I mean, that is so sad to hear. And this time it was not actually fake news. And
I know. Give me time. I thought he's died, and it's sad to say. Literally, like every couple months, he was dying. Like people would just post these hoax, and I'll be completely honest. When it happened, I didn't believe it, and then I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, these are real sources."
Yeah, and he was 95. 95.
Yeah, lived a good life.
You know what?
From what I guess, from the
seriously, the guy was doing cameos all the way up. I mean, even Deadpool 2. I saw Deadpool 2 not too long ago. In fact, it was like a little over a week ago. And the funny part is I swore that his cameo in Deadpool 2 was basically his picture on a mural on the side of a wall type of thing. I'm gonna have. I didn't stop and take a look at it, but it's like, it was one of those things, and yeah, just it's gonna be sad. It's gonna be really sad. But you know what? We'll talk more about that on Thursday. Here we go. You heard the show, and we hope you want more. Well, feel free to join us over at our social media platforms. Instagram and our Facebook page can be found at Behind the Ears Podcast. Our webpage is behindtheearspodcast.net, and our email is behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. And our Twitter handle is @BehindTheEarsPC. And come and join the conversation about all things Disney over at the WDW community page. Don't forget to rate and review the show over at iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as it really helps us get the word out about the show. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or the Podbean app. Also, you can listen to us on Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and via Alexa and Google Home.
And just like Mr. Chris says on the exit roll, follow us on all our social media platforms. Trisha would kill me if I didn't mention. Please follow us on. Please join the WDW community Facebook. Let's try that again. Please join the WDW community Facebook page. I've been checking. We haven't had any reviews lately on iTunes. We'd be highly appreciative if you guys can head over there. You don't realize what it really does for the show. It sounds trivial. It takes a few minutes just to log in. If you don't have an account, they don't charge you anything. It's free. Just give us a like. It just helps, spread the show. And obviously you guys spreading the show always helps. Yeah, man, it was a interesting beginning to the night. Interesting end of the night. I'm glad to maybe have tomorrow night off. I am so tired. So I am Uncle Danny. Thank you for tuning in to another live episode of Behind the Ears Podcast. And yeah, tuck your kids in tight, wear your seatbelts, do something nice for once for people. I am Uncle Danny. Until Thursday. That hit my head really hard.
I was going to say, dude, that's not how you're supposed to end the show. But I am Mr. Chris, and I will not hit myself in the head as I do my exit. What I will say is that no matter what, we are so glad that you're here. Thanks for being with us tonight. I know it was a different type of show. By all means, we just love this. We still love Disney. We always will. And we're glad that you love Disney with us. But until we meet again, we shall hope that you have an absolutely fantastic and magical day. Take care.